Hello. Happy Arvo. Thank you for joining me today. How are you doing? Oh, okay. Good. Oh, wow. Sounds amazing. Thank you. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to come here and watch this. How is Australia so rich in 2022? So this is pretty updated. I'm looking forward to this. Maybe it's from mining radioactive capsules. Let's see.
That's 0.32%. That is the total population of the planet that lives in Australia.
That's not much.
At around 26 million inhabitants, it is the 53rd most populated
Well, when you say it like that.
country in the world. A gigantic country that itself is a continent located down under. It is rather secluded and thousands of kilometers away from any other major civilization. Yet it has the 13th largest economy on the planet and
That's impressive just by itself, because obviously exports are a big part of a country's economy. So being that far away, that isolated, having a GDP this big is impressive.
Australians find themselves as being the 20th richest on Earth in terms of GDP per capita. So just how is Australia?
And with tourism, being that isolated makes tourism more difficult, makes exports more difficult, imports. So it's pretty remarkable.
So wealthy. I'm your host Sam and you're watching the Geography Bible. First of all, let's take some in-depth
Go check out the Geography Bible.
look at Australia's economy.
I mean, look at that city. What is this? This looks like something I used to make, like with little toy cars, with the little plastic things. I would make them go around in circles and stuff. This is crazy.
Financial statistics. As mentioned earlier, they have the 13th largest economy on the planet, with a GDP of around 1.6
And it's it's right below Brazil. And how many people live in Brazil? 200 million. And it's right there. Almost the same GDP. Almost 10 times less people. No shade to Brazil. I mean, I'm sorry, but Australia is doing something crazy.
trillion US
I guess this is Australia and New Zealand.
dollars, putting them above Spain and just below Brazil, a country with over 8 times the population and surrounded by many other countries. Australia's GDP per capita for purchasing power is just shy of 55,000 US dollars, which works out to roughly 77,000 Aussie dollars, placing them above the likes of Canada, the UK, and France, but just below Germany, Sweden, and Austria. And finally, Australia ranks as having the 8th highest average salary in the world. So, some very impressive stats for a country.
8th highest in the world salary?
8th highest average salary in the world.
That's interesting how it's that much higher up than the GDP per capita.
So, some very impressive stats for a country where 90% of people live in just 3% of its land. So, first
what the
things
heck?
first, Australia is incredibly rich in minerals. There is such an abundance of minerals that it not only meets its internal needs, but it also covers the needs of many other countries around the world, meaning it can export these precious commodities.
And the fact that so much of the land is uninhabited makes this just all the better. Like, you guys are never going to run out of space to mine. You know what I mean? I assume. I guess eventually. Like, I don't know what you're going to do in 1 million years, but up until then, I think you guys are good. By then, we're going to have robots. Like, I don't know. We'll probably be dead. Robots will have taken over. So you guys are good.
In exchange for dollars. In 2020, Australia was the largest producer of lithium. You might have heard of this compound.
And lithium's only getting more and more important.
It is used in batteries, and in case you haven't noticed, batteries are extremely important in today's digital age, especially with the
I just said that, bro.
gigantic boom in electric cars. Therefore, Australia is capitalizing on this opportunity, especially in China, where 41% of all electric vehicles were purchased in 2020. Australia is also the largest aluminium and opal producer in the world and the third largest.
You guys say aluminium. I can't even say that word. Aluminum.
largest producer of diamonds. Another export
Ooh,
that helps to
diamonds.
propel
That helps.
Australia to the top of the rich list is food, and its food industry is almost entirely based on local produce. As Australia is not short of space, it has vast areas of the country occupied by cereal crops. Because Australia is just so
Damn.
darn big, it has many different climates and can grow different fruits and vegetables
Look at the size of this farm. How rich is the dude who owns this?
that are typically found in different
Are farmers some of the richest people in Australia?
climate zones around the world. In the north, you have rainforest conditions, in the centre, you have desert, and then far down into Tasmania, you have temperate climates which are more like that of the UK's. Also, Australia is one of the countries with the largest herds of livestock around the world. The number of sheep in the country is the second largest in the world,
More than people.
only behind China. And for beef exports, only Brazil beats the Aussies. Australia's total export value is just
It's kind of surprising to me how much beef you can export being that far away. I would think it would be difficult to keep it cold and stuff.
shy of
But what do I know?
500 billion US dollars, with China, Japan, and South Korea, three other major economies, being their biggest trading partners. Australia ranks as being the 8th highest country on the Human Development Index. The index considers
The United States is nowhere to be found. Dang it. What is this? Yeah, I need to hear what this even is.
the health, education, and income in a given country to
Ah.
provide a measure of human development.
Dang it. How far down is the U.S.? I don't even want to know. I wonder what makes us go down so far. All the cheeseburgers. I think our life expectancy is kind of low.
Which is comparable between countries and
Oh, yeah, look at this life expectancy. 83? I'm pretty sure the life expectancy here in the States is like 78 or less.
over time. Scoring high in this index usually means that the country is in a great place in terms of finance, society, education, and quality of life. It doesn't mean that it's perfect, but when a country
I would love to surf. There's not a lot of oceans in Indiana, though. But that's like the one thing. I wish I lived on the coast just to learn how to surf.
excels in all of these sectors, it usually translates to a strong and healthy economy. A country with poor education,
Okay.
working
I was laughing because he said it was a strong economy, then he
to a
showed that.
strong and healthy economy. A country with
Yeah, like that.
poor education, working standards, civil war, and unrest will be very unlikely to have a booming economy with wealthy citizens. For example, the DR Congo is one of the most naturally rich countries on Earth, has a population of around 90 million, and a super young populace of around 17 years on average. Yet, it is one of the most corrupt and poor nations on Earth,
That's a shame, huh? They got so much going for them.
with an economy of just 50 billion US dollars.
Wow.
Australia's relative peace has also helped to maintain its strong economy and position. Over the last century, Europe has been
What about the Emu War?
annihilated flat twice. South America and Africa wrecked by civil wars and coups, and Asia all of the above. Australia and North America as well have been pretty much untouched, and so are wealthy. This isn't to say that Australia hasn't invested and been involved with wars, but there has certainly been no air raid blitzes over the Sydney Opera House. Its immigration policy is another factor that plays an important role to its wealth. Unlike other countries that have immigration policy aimed at greater cultural and ethnic diversity and to attract younger workers to help stimulate their economy due to an aging population, Australia concentrates on bringing in highly skilled and needed workers as opposed to just anyone.
It's kind of cutthroat, but that makes sense. Not just anybody's allowed in. They're like, we'll only take you if we want you. Sorry.
For example, if
It would kind of feel bad to get rejected. Like, you don't want me?
Australia starts to find that they have a shortage of doctors, engineers, and teachers, they will slacken their immigration rules to allow more of these highly skilled workers to enter.
What a huge advantage, because it's such a beautiful country and such an awesome place to live. You have all these people who would love to live there, and you get to just pick and choose. Oh, we need a few doctors. Yeah, we'll let them in. Come on in. No, we don't need you. Whatever you are,
Australia's
we don't need any YouTubers. You stay away.
education system is one of the best in the world. It is modern and highly regarded. Therefore, many international students who of course have wealthy families may apply to live and study in Australia. These then already wealthy students may go on to secure high-paying jobs and further boost the Australian economy. Pre-pandemic, Australia was a dream destination.
How cool is that?
Travellers from all across the globe, including myself, would flock to the land down under to see its many incredible attractions and soak in its gorgeous sunshine.
You know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to surf. I want to do whatever this is. I guess this is, what is this? Wind surf? I don't know what this is. Parasurfing?
Cosmopolitan cities, national parks, architectural landmarks, beaches, and amazing weather. It's no surprise that in 2019, Australia's income from tourism was around 42 billion US dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
About 3.2%.
The tourism, even though they're that far away, still got 42 bill in the bank
Of its GDP, the 7th highest in the world. From the Sydney Opera House to Ayers Rock to the Great Barrier Reef, Australia has...
What did he just call that?
From the Sydney Opera House to Ayers Rock to the...
Ayers Rock? Isn't this Uluru? What is Ayers Rock?
The 7th highest in the world. From the Sydney Opera House to Ayers Rock to the Great Barrier Reef, Australia has some of the world's most fascinating landmarks and attractions. Australia's booming housing market is great for bringing in money to the...
Yeah, this line might have gone up even faster than that. This is back in 2019. Good on you if you bought a house in 2019, 2018. So I think this line shot. It's like up. It's off the chart. If I had to guess.
The country on taxes due to massive demand of new buildings and homes, but not so great for the everyday Australian trying to buy a house. Very similar to what I see in London. The mega rich from all across the planet buy properties in cities and countries that are well developed and wealthy, as there is only a finite amount of space in cities like Sydney, Melbourne and Perth, which are all extremely desirable. The cost of housing continues to go up, and more are being built. In the year 2000, the average house in Sydney would set you back around 312,000 Aussie dollars. Today, it is more like 1.6 million. The average...
There goes any hope of ever living in Sydney.
Sheila simply cannot afford this insane amount. However, a billionaire living in China or Japan can buy several houses and rent them out for profit.
There's something weird about that. Like that, it doesn't feel like it can go on forever. They're just buying a bunch of Chinese billionaires just buying houses in Australia. I know they do that here in the States too. I wonder how big of a problem that is. But it somehow feels like a bubble to me. Like.
Just recently, Australia ranked as the second most agile country in the world, only behind the US.
Hey, at least we're number one in something. I don't really know what that even means. Most agile? Agile to what?
For a country to be agile, it must adapt and respond to whatever obstacles it faces. To do this, a country needs to be efficient in its actions, adopt and accept modern solutions, and progress to meet changing circumstances.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I should have assumed that. That makes sense. Okay, so cool. The U.S. is number one at something, and you guys are right there. Most agile. Okay, I'll take it.
And last but not least, it is important to say a few words about the successful Anglo-Saxon economic model. This is a kind of capitalism that is characterized by some important specifics, especially when it comes
I'm very distracted by this light show.
to taxes. The Anglo-Saxon model usually means less government interference and less regulations. The private sector dominates and the private property enjoys a central role. Although absolutely not perfect, this model has proven to be extremely successful in countries from around the world such as New Zealand, the UK, the Republic of Ireland, the United States, Canada, and many more.
Those are some nice, some top tier countries, if you ask me.
So overall, Australia is a well-developed country that has one of the strongest immigration policies in the world, is a tourist hotspot outside of pandemics, has a booming export and skilled workforce with a vast amount of natural resources, which allows it to be one of the richest countries in the world with a very high quality of life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned something new, feel free to drop it a like.
That was actually really great.
And if you love this,
because I was afraid the whole video was just going to be about mining, because I know that that's what Australia is most famous for, is mining. But he went over and touched a lot of different points and stuff. I enjoyed that a lot. Hey, thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go check out the Geography Bible. The link's down in the description. Hey, subscribe if you want to. I mean, I'm not saying you have to. I can't even. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what you have to do. I'm just saying if you want to. Anyway, have a good day and goodbye.